Well, I was having a conversation with my mom, was it yesterday? We were talking a little bit about what was going on in the medias and how people talk about our president. And the thing and the revelation just hit me. How you see people is how you praise them. It also applies to yourself. How you see you is going to be how you praise you, how you treat you, and how you tolerate the things around you. Your success is going to be built off of how you see you. And I think I did a video on this before, and I can't really remember, but it's like, yo, I can talk about this again. As we go through things, as we see things, as we experience things, oftentimes we need reminders. Because I am in a certain stage in my life doesn't make me inadequate to talk about the things that I have an abundance of knowledge of, or things that I put into practice. It does not make me inadequate. It just means that I'm just in a different stage of my life. And if anything, I'm gaining wisdom from the stages that I'm in, which means that I'm even more adequate. But it's all in how I see myself, even what I tolerate around me. And that goes for you too. What are you tolerating around you? What are you allowing to be around you that isn't productive? I was with my friend yesterday on his farm, and we were just talking, chopping it up as I'm helping, do what he do with the chickens and the plants or the vegetables and stuff like that. And we were able to have a really good conversation. And one of the things that I learned from him is that he said it took a decision for him to really change. But what he had to do was he had to sit with himself and be like, yo, what am I really doing? What am I really doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting time? And it was because of how he saw himself. It was because of what his thought process was. And your thought process and your perspective is ultimately going to control how you look at things, how you view things, how you perceive things, and how you perceive yourself, which ultimately leads to the actions or the decisions that you make moving forward. So if I have a poor mindset, if I have a poor perception of life, then that's going to lead to poor decisions that I make because of my mindset and what I think is acceptable and unacceptable. And I was like, yo, that's so powerful. Why was it powerful? Because I was able to see the fruit of him. I was able to see the fruit of the decision that he made. And I pray I'll be able to get him on here so we can have a conversation about his story, how he has used his changed mindset, his changed perspective, and his faith to be able to further him in life. And actually, I'm probably going to put him on the docket soon. But anyhow, it was just so crazy to see how the Lord was able to work in his life to increase his faith and his wealth at the same time. Again, we're talking about faith and finances, right? So something that he knew that was not furthering him in life, he had to give it up. But it first started with a mindset shift so that he can give it up. When he gave up that one thing that was not helping him in life and helping him to move forward, it was like a light switch. And his yes to say, okay, I'll give it up. His no to the things that he used to do, it opened up a wealth of doors that the Lord opened because of his decision to say yes. His yes led to multiple businesses. His yes led to doors being open with people who have businesses who have guided him and been mentors to him. His yes was the decision that needed to be made so that he can be a walking testimony of what it looks like to have faith. Even when it doesn't make sense, have faith. Even if it doesn't make sense, make the move, right? Because he had faith, because he has faith, because he's moving in obedience, even in his early stages of faith. Like it's so crazy and it's so real. And so with that mind shift, and I'm not going to tell his whole story, but with that mind shift, not only did his moves change, like I said before, the things that he began to tolerate began to change. No longer was he going to be, being around certain people or certain things or having certain conversations, because at that point, if it's not benefiting me, and I know it's not benefiting you, then what are we doing? That's the same way with myself. There are many things that I will not tolerate because it's not going to benefit my mental, it's not going to benefit my spiritual, it's not going to benefit my physical, and it definitely ain't finna benefit me financially. So what are we doing? But again, your perception of yourself or other people is going to be how you praise or how you respond to those individuals, how you respond to situations, how you respond to negative circumstances, how you respond. It's the truth. I'm looking at people around me that have changed their mind, responded differently, and their actions are a product or the fruit of it, which then leads to a healthier lifestyle, a healthier mental space, a healthier spiritual space, a healthier physical space, a healthier financial space. All of this stuff is connected. So if you don't think you don't have to change your mind to get to the next level, you're sadly mistaken. If you don't think that the perception of yourself has to change, then you are sadly mistaken. If you don't think that having a change and enhanced perception of faith has to change so that it can ultimately affect or be your wealth can be a byproduct of that, then you are sadly mistaken. So I want to encourage you guys to really start to think about this thing for real. Get serious about who you are, your perception of yourself, and how you're going to move forward with that newfound perception, because your perception is going to define your identity. That perception of yourself is going to define your actions. That perception of yourself is going to define who and what the Lord is willing to open up to you. That's the truth. If you don't think that you are capable of X, Y, and Z, and you continue to go on a path where it basically contributes to your demise, then that's on you. It's not the Lord's fault. It is not the Lord's fault on why you are where you are. Doors have been opened. Resources have been given. But either you took advantage of it and you did what you wanted to do, or you closed the doors that he opened because it's not what you thought it was supposed to be. That's powerful. Or you closed the doors because you didn't think you was able to walk through them. So you went back to drinking, you went back to smoking, you went back to sexing, you went back to disobedience. But to walk through a door, it requires obedience. So you shut the door because you are in disobedience. Oh, that's a word. So then you limit yourself because of your own decisions. You limit yourself because you rather do what's easier rather than the hard thing. It's hard to walk away from people that you're familiar with because you met them when you were in your demise. It's hard to walk away from a mindset that was bred in you from since you was a child. It's hard. It's hard because when those things are ingrained in you, you have to make a decision to go against the wind. You have to go against the flowing of the river of easiness. You have to go against the river of easiness so that you can get to the next level. Stop limiting yourself. Stop listening to people who have nothing to offer. Now, that's not to say that that some of the people around you who may not be productive don't have anything valuable to say. If anything, you take heed to what's being said and you do one or two things. Either you do the opposite of what they're saying, or you take heed to what they're saying and you do better than what you're doing today. Now, that does not make that person an assignment. That does not make that person a mentor. Stop making people mentors, friends, associates, and mentees when you ain't assigned to them. That's another topic for another time. But it's something to think about. Perception, which starts in the mind, produces actions and reactions. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I don't want to continue to repeat myself. But I hope y'all listening to what I'm saying, because this thing ain't no joke. Again, me watching people make decisions and at a young age, and they taking off because of a decision that they made to stop viewing themselves as something lesser than what they were designed to be. They had to give up habits, make a decision with the Lord, and then boom, in a year or two, multiple businesses, creating thousands. Are you insane? And I'm like, I can't be mad at nobody but myself if I don't ever get to where where the Lord has purposed me to be. Because ultimately, it's a decision. It's a decision. So, with that, y'all, I hope y'all are encouraged. I hope I give y'all something to think about. I hope y'all are encouraged. Or get encouraged, encourage somebody else along the way. And let's get this thing popping. Let's go ahead and start changing that mindset. Start changing that mindset so that we can do something different, okay? I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing day. And that's all I got. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all be easy. Peace, peace.